The 76ers championship window was a lot smaller than a lot of you guys think. Tell me how Tobias Harris will make $37 million this upcoming season. He's gonna make more money than Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving, and Devin Booker. James Harden just had the worst year of his career since he left OKC. Joel Embiid is 28 years old at his peak and just played the most games of his career. But with the uncertainty of his health at times, puts the Sixers in win now mode. But Philly, I'm here to tell you that your time has finally come. But before we get into that, welcome back to another video here with NBA Addict TV, where we provide the latest NBA content on the tube. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Now let's get straight to the video. So y'all Philly fans have been trusting the process for quite a while now, and the closest the Sixers have gotten to making the finals in the last 10 years was back in 2019, as that 3-bounce Kawhi Leonard game winner ripped the heart out of the entire city of Philadelphia. But since then, the Sixers have been plagued with injuries every season, whether it was Ben Simmons missing time with that herniated disc in his back, or Joel Embiid missing time with the long list of knee injuries he has suffered. Throughout the years, the blame for the lack of success was put on coaching, whether it be Brett Brown or Doc Rivers, or even blame the GM Elton Brand for not putting the proper pieces around Joel Embiid, so they brought in Daryl Morey. And as soon as Daryl Morey became president of basketball operations, he went and traded Al Horford, who many thought was untradeable due to his contract. He improved the spacing around Joel Embiid by bringing in Seth Curry and Danny Green. Then when he realized what the problem was, he went and traded Ben Simmons for James Harden to pair with Joel Embiid, who is playing the best basketball of his career and who just got robbed of MVP, but we're not going to talk about that. But there's no more excuses, and the real reason I believe the Sixers are my favorite to win a championship next season is because, ladies and gentlemen, James Harden is in the best shape of his career. No, this is not cap. Yeah, you probably seen him this summer with your favorite rapper, but he has been putting in a lot of work this off season. He actually did an interview with the magazine and said for the first time in his career, he will have to be very cautious of what he eats, especially in the off season. He also said he made it his goal to use this summer to get in the best shape possible. And for all you guys wondering, yes, that means no more wings at Magic City. And rightly so, because last season Harden was heavily scrutinized the whole year, from his underwhelming play to start the year with the Nets and seemingly quitting on his teammates to force a trade to Philly. But once he arrived in Philly, Harden fit in flawlessly in the Sixers system. In his first game in Philly, Harden had 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 12 assists. And in his next game, Harden had a 29-point triple-double against my Knicks. But when the playoffs arrived, James Harden's hamstring did not. His lack of aggressiveness left a hole in the Sixers offense, as Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris had to pick up the slack, but it wasn't enough to take down the Miami Heat, as they lost in 6. And James Harden had averaged the least amount of points in the playoffs of his career since he left OKC. Even in post-game interviews, you could sense the frustration in Joel Embiid with James Harden. Embiid even said he thinks Harden can no longer be the player he was in Houston, but everything changes now. I seriously believe this will be the best year of James Harden's career. And if James Harden can no longer be a top 10 player in the NBA, best believe he will feel the full wrath of Philly fans. If you thought your ex was toxic, I bet you haven't met a Sixers fan, huh? And by best year, I don't mean he's gonna average 40 points a game, but I believe not only will he continue to be a phenomenal playmaker, he will be much better at getting to his spots at an efficient rate. I believe he will finish at the rim at a career high with his athleticism coming back and him having 2 good legs and no fried wings in his belly. He will be way more efficient making plays out of double teams, as well as being a quicker decision maker. And it is no secret that last year Harden was either going for a layup or taking a 3, whether it was contested or not. But now he looks like he will be adding a dimension to his game in the mid-range. Let's not forget, James Harden is indeed one of the smartest players in the league. And let's also take into account that last year the refs were more strict on calling fouls that the offensive player initiates. And it was obvious throughout the season it took some adjusting to, but I promise you next year James Harden will once again make a living at that free throw line. But guys, this is the first off season that he has had since first suffering that hamstring injury that he could use to work out and get better instead of rehab. I think that's a factor that many people overlooked, and from the looks of these open runs, James Harden is back. He looks incredibly slim and agile, and it looks like that quick first step is back. But if we're being honest, there has never been more pressure on him like there is now. This is it. Daryl Morey gave up his most valuable asset outside of Joel Embiid for James Harden, so the duo has no other choice but to bring a chip to Philadelphia. Don't be surprised if the Sixers are once again a top 5 seed and finally make it to the NBA Finals. But with that being said, guys, let me know what you think of James Harden and the 76ers going into next season. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications if you're an NBA addict, and I'll see you on next video.